Adam Friedman, Rivals.com, here with Adam Gorney, National Recruiting Director, to discuss the latest rankings roundtable. We're trying to figure out which positions are actually the hardest to rank in the 2023 class. There are a lot of really good positions in this class, but I'm partial to the defensive tackles, and I know that you like the defensive ends, Gorney. Why do you think the defensive ends are so hard to rank in this class?
Yeah, they're so hard to rank because there's so many good ones, and so figuring out the order is really difficult. So Samuel Mpemba is our number one weak side defensive end right now, but Keon Keeley is 2 inches taller. He's much longer. He comes off the edge incredibly well. And then you have Mateo Uiagalelei, who's 6'6", 270. We still list him as a weak side defensive end because he can drop in space. He can play out there and cover, comfortably, and then come off the edge. And he was incredibly impressive in Bosco's losing effort to Mater Dei earlier this year. But then you have PJ Adebawori, who's committed to Oklahoma, who looks like a complete freak show. And then at strong side, you have guys 9, 10 deep who are really, really impressive. It starts with DJ Hicks up front, but Jaden Wayne, Brennan Vernon looks like a Joey Bosa clone. Kelby Collins is an impressive guy. Peter Woods, who could move inside in the next rankings, is definitely a guy. Damon Wilson is someone who could be in that 5-star discussion. When you have guys like Deshaun Womack and Jamarius Brown, and you go down the list, Tamarian Parker, Ruben Bain is a sack machine at number 17 at the strong side defensive end group. It's just incredibly hard to figure out where all these guys should be placed. We're going to have a lot of work to do because it's an incredibly deep and talented group.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I like a lot of those guys that you mentioned, but at defensive tackle, a lot of these guys are actually in my region, especially the ones closer to the top, like Jason Moore, who's committed to Ohio State, and Jamal Jarrett, who is an absolute monster, but is committed to Georgia. He's number 2 at the position, followed by James Smith, and then Will Norman, who's committed to Florida. So, I mean, it's a really, really tough group here at the top. But as you look further down the list, you see guys like Caden McDonald or Stephylan Green. Green is possibly one of the most athletic defensive tackles in this class, right up there with Moore. And then you look even further down, you see Jordan Hall out of Jacksonville. These guys are outstanding prospects who, some of them seem to be a little underrated, but a real interesting argument I've been having with myself is, do we value the more athletic guys like Jason Moore and Stephylan Green over guys like Jamal Jarrett, or even like a Jamal Smith, James Smith, or Caden McDonald? These guys who are just huge, but are really athletic for their size and can just dominate the middle of the field. So trying to figure out which ones should be ranked higher is going to be a really difficult task when we head into these rankings meetings before Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to figuring out how we're going to order both of these positions with the rest of the analysts, and looking forward to see these guys during the rest of their senior seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And that question at defensive tackle is going to be an interesting one. And guys like Jamal Jarrett and Caden McDonald, big guys, over 300 pounds. Jarrett, well over 300 pounds. They're not just space eaters either. Those guys are people that can get in the backfield and be disruptive. But Jason Moore is a guy that projects, at 70 pounds now, probably will play at 290, maybe can get to 300 pounds, but can come off the edge, can play inside. That versatility is something that's really, really impressive. I think James Smith is the guy that we really need to have the biggest talk about. It is he someone who at Alabama or Georgia probably is top 2, and where one of those schools is where he'll end up. A guy that can play at 310 pounds. He has kind of ballooned up a little bit more. He's trimmed down now a good deal to kind of play more off the edge and run people down, play inside. He's definitely one of the most interesting guys in this class, and someone with his teammate Quay Rassah at linebacker, who's just been completely dominant. So a lot of discussions to have, a lot of different things to look at in terms of physicality and size, and how much we value that. It's going to be an interesting discussion in the next couple of weeks when we get through those rankings. But then also to see all these guys all in the same settings at the Under Armour game and the All-American Bowl over the holidays will really be the final say in where these guys end up.
Yeah, hopefully these all these guys make it down to one of the major all-star games where we're going to be able to see everybody go up against the best competition in the country. Adam Gorney, thanks so much for your time. Adam Friedman, looking forward to these rankings updates.